Hey there, friends! In this video, we've got a few news stories about the World War II finds that were discovered by search teams and quite by accident. Let's get right to the chase. "110 Red Army soldiers." They say that the war is not over until the last soldier is buried. It has been 77 years since the World War II ended, but the remains of fallen soldiers are continued to be found in different parts of Russia. And just recently, in the Tver region, the search party discovered the burial of 110 Red Army soldiers who died on December 26 and 27, 1941. Near the village of Rybiniha. During this difficult time, the Red Army was struggling to stop the Nazi offensive. Thousands of soldiers died every day. There weren't enough living to bury the dead. They lay forgotten for a long time in trenches, fields and forests. This time the searchers were lucky. They found a burial that was made immediately after the battle. It took several days of painstaking work to clear the remains of the soldiers that were stacked on top of each other. It was possible to find 35 Bakelite cylinders in which personal data of soldiers was stored. Unfortunately, after so many years, it was possible to read the data and identify only 11 soldiers. After a long work in the archives, relatives of the dead were found and came to the reburial of soldiers at the military cemetery. Personal belongings of the dead heroes were handed over to their descendants. But the search is still unfinished in this area and will continue in the nearest future. The German ships. For 78 years, more than 20 World War II shipwrecks lay underwater near the border of Serbia and Romania. But the drought affected the largest river in Western Europe, Danube. The water level in some areas has dropped to critical levels and rusty hulls have appeared on the surface. In 1944, the German fleet retreated from the Black Sea under the blows of the Red Army and entered the mouth of Danube. It was pursued by armored boats of the 1st Red Banner Kerch Brigade as part of the Danube military flotilla. It was here that a fierce battle unfolded, as a result of which dozens of ships of Nazi Germany went to the bottom, and the Germans themselves sank their ships. Gordana Karovic, an underwater archaeologist, said, "The ships were flooded not only to prevent them from falling into the hands of the Red Army, but also to block the way, to complicate the passage through the Danube." According to historians, there may be more than 100 German ships in the Prahova area at the bottom of the river. Even now, 78 years later, the passage along the Danube in this place is not the safest. Tons of ammunition in the hulls of the ships are a great danger. It is not excluded that some World War II weapons hunter will try to get to one of the ships, which may lead to the detonation of the shells. After lying in water for many years, explosives are still dangerous, and any careless movement can lead to tragedy. At the moment, the decision on what to do with such a dangerous cargo has not yet been made. A German tractor. Another interesting find was discovered by a search team in Kaliningrad region. We have already told many times about the finds from Kaliningrad, but these guys never cease to amaze us. In February of this year, a German Hanomag SS-20 airfield tractor was discovered. It was produced in different versions. It was especially often used at Luftwaffe airfields as well as in engineering troops. The condition, of course, leaves much to be desired, but often restorers work even with worse copies of military equipment. Therefore, we will wait for this instance to be restored. Find a link to the video of restored rare exhibits of World War II cars and tractors below. An ammunition depot. We all know that fierce battles took place in Poland during the World War II. A huge amount of weapons and ammunition is found nowadays in the most unlikely places. In 2017, in Pashkov, a whole warehouse of various German-made cartridges was discovered during an old house renovation. Some were in pouches and in excellent condition. As experts said, these cartridges are still suitable for shooting. There were also bullets for German STG-44 assault rifle, which is a rare find. Sturmgewehr 44 is a German machine gun developed during the World War II. Around 450,000 of these were issued. Its specialty is having a greater range of aimed firing due to the use of the so-called intermediate cartridge, which is more powerful and has better ballistics than pistol cartridges used in submachine guns. World War II arms cache. During a local police department building demolition in Ukraine, workers discovered a cache of World War II weapons and ammunition: 2 Hungarian M36 fragmentation grenades, 4 German M24 grenades, 2 Soviet RGD-33 grenades, an Austrian Steyr pistol 1912 version, Mosin rifles, SVT-40 and cartridges of various calibers. Historians believe that there's a possibility that weapons could belong to the Ukrainian insurgent army, which fought on the side of the Nazis against the Red Army. In addition, experts observed that there were huge catacombs under the building that haven't been explored previously. It's quite possible that the bandits' headquarters could be located there. A black digger. Polish police detained a man engaged in excavation at the sites of the World War II. In his basement, he equipped an entire underground workshop for the found weapons restoration. The police seized a dozen pistols and rifles completely ready for use. They also found hundreds of cartridges of various manufacturers and calibers, many spare parts for weapons and grenades. The police said that the grenades are the most dangerous, as they have been lying in the ground for many years and could explode at the slightest touch. The man said that he wasn't going to sell or use anything, being just a collector. Now he faces a prison term. MiG-3 airplane. In the fall of 2020, the searchers found the crash site of the MiG-3 fighter of the World War II. The MiG-3 is a high-speed interceptor fighter but could be used as an attack aircraft or light dive bomber. The plane crashed into the ground at a right angle and plunged into the swampy soil for several meters. Therefore, the searchers had great difficulty extracting the aircraft parts and the pilot's personal belongings from the swampy soil. The blow was so strong that the armor plate broke into several parts. The condition of the found documents and the pilot's clothing was surprisingly good. Studying archival documents, it was possible to find out that the plane made a flight after repairs and most likely crashed for technical reasons. A lot of technical documentation and several sets of clothing for pilots and technicians were found in the cockpit. The best preserved leather helmet and handkerchiefs were embroidered with initials. The remains of the pilot were not found and the seat belts were unfastened. Most likely the pilot managed to jump out with a parachute. Nowadays, the search for the pilot and his future fate continues. An armory. In the city of Balashikha, near Moscow, police officers found a whole arsenal of weapons that a local resident illegally kept. Machine guns, rifles, pistols, revolvers, and several thousand rounds of ammunition were seized during the search. The man opened a workshop at home for the repair and alteration of weapons. There were samples of a Mosin rifle, a TT pistol, and a Nagant revolver of 1941 among the seized weapons. For illegal possession and alteration of weapons, the man faces a prison sentence. The police reported that the detainee turned out to be a repeatedly convicted man manufacturing and storing weapons for criminal groups. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new videos. Good luck to everyone!